Welcome to the Smokin Word. Welcome to the Smokin Word.
What's up, everybody? Before we start, you already know the deal. The podcast is always brought to you by CasaDeRock.com. Support the show. Join the Patreon. Patreon.com/The Smokin Word. Shout out to everybody who's been holding the movement down. Shout out to everybody who's been tuning in to the Hard Corner. Every Wednesday it drops, so peep out the episodes on YouTube. Shout out to Joe G. Shout out to RV. Shout out to G. Everybody holding me down. This week, I got an old friend and one of my favorite drummers in the game. California's finest, my boy, Chris Kontos. Let's set this shit off.
Boom.
Yeah.
What's up, my boy?
Yeah.
Hey.
Mother, I was just saying on the little intro I was doing, my boy, motherfucker. I said Cali's finest, motherfucking Chris Kontos. Let me just tell you, you know, your name is even a good name, like.
It's a good Greek name, bro.
Yeah, but like Chris, it sounds like a drummer. It sounds like a metal name, a punk name. It sounds like a musician name. Like I was like,
right on.
What's up? How you been, brother?
Good, dude. Good, man. Been super busy on the bounce back after the lockdown and everything, dude. We did the Boneless Ones record while we were
Yeah. I want to know about that first because that's what's going on right now. I've been seeing that, and I also know because you're a weird guy like that where you disappear and then you drop. You're always working on something drops and then you duck back in. Tell us about this because I know about it, but I don't know a lot about it. But I always know you're dropping projects here and there. You always got something up your sleeve. So
right. So I was in the Boneless Ones in '86. At the same time, I was in Attitude Adjustment.
Oh, all right. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So when I joined the band, they were like already breaking up. So I was only in the band a short amount of time, and we were off for like 35 years. Everybody went in and did their own thing. And unfortunately, a few years back, our guitar player, the original guitar player, he passed away. And that kind of got us on the phone, got us like all mortality check, like, oh, wow, here we go.
Yeah,
and there were 4 songs that we never recorded back in the day. We just did a demo, and they never really saw the light of day. So the idea was to go and record those songs kind of in Luke's honor, and then as things go, we get together, we start writing shit, and went through a couple guitar players. Our guitar player that passed away, Luke, he was actually one of Joe Satriani's students.
Wow. So that means he knew how to play a little bit.
Like
a little bit.
Too good to be in like a little punk skate rock band, right?
Yeah, right.
So he did all the bar tricks and the hammer-ons and all that stuff. So looking for a guitar player, we kind of had to hit that brand. So I hit up my boy Craig LaCicero from Forbidden.
Yeah.
And he was more than down, dude. He never really got to express more his punk rock and hardcore stuff in the bands that he was doing. So he kind of had this arsenal kind of on hold. And when we hit him up, he just came out the box. He wrote 8 songs, and dude, it's blossomed like way beyond our imagination. He wrote 8 songs. We started our own record label.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, put the record out, and it's getting like really killer reviews, and like people are digging it.
What's the name of the label?
Thunder and Lightning Records.
There you go, Thunder and Lightning Records. Everybody, make sure you look that shit up and hit that shit up. Follow it, go buy it.
Yeah, man.
Buy Bitcoin it or whatever the fuck. However you people buy shit now.
Right. However you're gonna spend that money,
however you can spend it, spend it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's good shit, and that was good. Now, weren't you what was the project you were doing before? You were doing something else right before this. Well, not right. I don't know how close to this it was, but the last project you did.
Well, the last thing I was doing was the Machine Head 25th anniversary tour.
Oh, we'll talk to that about that before that. Your own thing. You were doing another band.
Well, I was in a band called Spiral Arms with Craig.
Okay, right. That's what it was.
Yeah,
what was that about?
That joint was more like I would say like Stone Temple Pilots. Really kind of like heady, you know, like kind of Alice in Chains vibe. It was super cool, but man, it was just, you know, I think it was the timing was off.
Let me ask you this. I'm glad you said that because I'm fucking curious. This is what, you brought up Stone Temple Pilots, who I fucking love. And I love the earlier shit, you know. They got hard groove shit. Like, as a singer, killed it. Whatever. But let me ask you, at the time, you know, it was hard to say you liked certain people couldn't say they liked certain bands at certain times because it wasn't cool. And maybe we weren't even into it at that minute because whatever it be. How was it looked at in your area when those bands were dropping? Like when Stone Temple was popping? Like what was the feel in your world? Because look at where we were at, our hardcore thing, and you were obviously a hardcore punk dude, but you were in that metal, in that, you know, thrash, hard metal. How were the everyday person looking at the bands like Stone Temple Pilots at that time and moment? Was it showing love or that hate? Because the hardcore dudes were hating on it, and then later on, you find out they all loved it.
They all loved it. Like, you know, look, I've always been that dude, right? I've always been a crossover kid. I've always been into classic rock. And for me, like, punk rock isn't a genre, it's a headspace.
Yeah.
So like musically, I never cut myself off. Like I've always taken flack for liking Merciful Fate and liking the Rolling Stones and liking Cro-Mags and liking Merciful Fate and liking, you know, Nirvana or Soundgarden and being super into Antidote, you know, or whatever, you know. So I always played that fucking role because I thought, like, why cut yourself off musically, right? So I don't trip on what people like really, or think of what I like, because if it moves me, and that's my thing. So yeah, you know, you had all those people like look, the Spice Girls, man. You don't sell 55 million records and have everybody hates you, right? And then the other thing I say is, like, you can't walk into a sold out arena and say these guys suck. Because you're on the island, right? Listen, at that point, you're on the island.
I'm guilty. I was that guy. I admit it. It took me till I got older. I learned, like, because I'd be behind the scenes loving this shit, but I was like, you know, also when I as a kid, even how being the hardcore kid in my head, how we had to represent was we got to show only us, not meaning me, like our world, our scene. Fuck everybody else. They got theirs. We got to get ours, kind of. So I kind of blocked myself up, which early on helped me in songwriting, but then it stopped me from expanding. Not till later on, I started looking at other people and I was like, wait a minute. Chris Kontos was in this band and now he's doing Machine Head. Wait a minute. This guy from this band is doing that. Why can't I do that? I thought I made it in my head where I wasn't allowed to. I made like these boundaries on myself. It comes out in the pudding. Like musicianship. And I've always, you know, the range that you were able to hit.
Right. You know, I always trip people out back in the day. It's like, oh, where'd you get the fast hands from? You know, like they would, like, you know, note like DRI, or they would note like fast bands like that. And I'd be like Billy Cobham. You know, Spectrum album, you know, I mean, so, and like when I list my influences, like somebody might not be tripping that I'm thinking, oh, Keith Moon or The Who, and I'm going to put that shit in Attitude Adjustment. You know, and so, like I said, I've really never limited myself. You know, I used to say, you know, punk rock, you know, this whole don't conform, don't be in a uniform, you know, thing. And then all of a sudden I really realized that, like, in a lot of ways, it was a super narrow corridor. You know, you want to put a saxophone on some shit, you're tripping. Or, you know, you want to have a backup singer on some stuff, or you want to, you know, do something melodic.
God forbid.
God forbid everybody starts tripping on you, right? And I'm like, so where does the punk rock part kick in? Like, just to be yourself and be unique, you know? So, you know, I'm not falling victim to some of that shit because, like you said, hardcore and crossover music being so fragile and being put way down that you got to represent, you got to be like mad all about it, right? And I get that, but, you know, I've never been afraid of taking a little heat on anything, right? Because I'm a conversationalist. You know, I like to have a conversation and maybe break some boundaries in that way, and send somebody off to the side and say, like, wow, I didn't really think about it that way, or I don't have to hide my fucking true feelings and shit, you know? So
And I tell you, why you were in a good space, because from our side, everybody rooted for you when you were a Machine Head. Nobody hated. Like, and I ain't just talking about the Madball guys and the AF guys that you're fam with. No, I'm talking about even in New York, everybody was like, yo, this homeboy from this band, yo, Machine. And now it was like, look it, how could you not like those early records? They were dope.
Word.
If you liked heavy music and you didn't like fucking Machine Head, you were just being a niche. You just not liking people for other reasons.
Right.
But now there was somebody that we could root for. Now we could be out in the open with our metal love. You know what I mean?
Right.
Be like,
right.
Yo, go rep for that Machine Head shit. You remember?
Yeah.
We people automatically, since we were those hardcore, and we are those hardcore dudes that like we were some type of metal haters. I'm like, I brought metal into Madball because I love metal. You know? I'm like, where it's fam. So when you being in there, which we were already feeling, we were loving Machine Head, and we're like, yo, Kontos is in there, yo, there's hardcore motherfuckers in this, yo, we in there, and he killed it. You know, it was like we could do that. You know, you were showing we could do that shit too. You know, it ain't just the metal guys. Like, I love the metal dudes.
A big night. A big night for me, dude. Like that verification and that legacy stamp was when Machine Head played the Limelight in New York.
Oh yeah,
and like all my brothers showed up.
Yeah,
like AF and Mike Portnoy and like dudes from Madball and Biohazard, and like I had all my peeps there, and it was like it showed me that like, hey, there's a fracture in the wall, right? And like we could like start pushing those bricks out.
Yeah.
And even like, AF, early on, like started to like drift into metal and like getting that crunch going, and getting that guitar thing. And then you get the metal drop, starts to happen in hardcore and stuff. And it was, for me, it was like vindicating. I was like, see what you could do, you know?
And for us, that's why it was same thing. We were like, what you could do. You know what I mean?
No doubt. Like Chrissy Hine from the Pretenders back in the day, she said, the better musician you are, the less punk you are, like it or not.
Fact.
Because that musicianship comes up and you're going to start to like want to get away from 3-chord pile up and start to explore your technique and your talent. And that's going to drift you into some musicality and some melody, and potentially into some of that Metallica and Exodus and Slayer and
I remember going to Willie's house, where I forgot we're working on Set It Off or something, but and Willie, I never forget, he didn't have too much furniture, but he had like a little stand with a tape player or a CD player, whatever the fuck we had, and he looks at me, he's like, we got a bunch of shit from Roadrunner.
Yeah.
Check this shit out. Willie goes to me. It was the fucking Machine Head album.
Oh shit!
He put that shit on. We were like, oh shit. We were like, yo, we gotta kill this record. Is that right? Even though it was a metal, we were like, yo, these motherfuckers got that bounce shit and they made it sound big. Yo, we gotta bounce that shit and we gotta make it sound big. Like, we were like, it got his amp, because I remember Willie's not a metal guy. Willie's that classic rock guy.
Yeah.
And Willie was like, told me, check this out. And I remember being like, fuck that, because even with Sepultura, I love Sepultura, but I'll be fronting if I tell you I was a Beneath the Remains guy. I'm a KSAD guy.
Yeah, me too.
That's my shit. Because I was like, I love old classic thrash, don't care. But that was like the perfect mashup of groove, thrash, aggressive, good singing and yelling, and how I would like my heavy music to be. I remember being like, KSAD, that's the record. I go, they got it. I finally said, metal motherfuckers finally got it. Like, to the T. And like, same thing like Machine Head, where that's a bounce, there's attitude, there's song.
Well, that's the trick. See, that's the trick, right? So I'm originally from New York. I was born in New York, right? So I'm always No, Manhattan, Charleston Street.
You're a Ranger guy, ain't you, right?
Oh, Rangers, Yankees, everything New York except the Raiders, because I'm a Raider fan.
All right, that's fine. I like you even more now. So
Knicks, I'm a Knicks fan, like that.
Yeah, but
here's the trick. The trick is, like you said, bounce, right? There was something that hit myself, Igor Cavalera, Vinnie Paul, Danny Schuler, we were like, look, it's cool. But what about bop bop soup bop bop oops oops right?
Exactly.
And that's
I
gonna make
write to that right. I'm gonna sample you doing that. I'm gonna write that shit later. As a matter of fact, watch me, motherfucker. But go ahead.
So it was the danceability, right? Because it was all about fist bang mania, and all you could do is just sit there and be like da 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 da. And I wanted to make people be like, sway, right? And look, no lie, right? The girls, right? Girls were like pushed to the back. And when Machine Head came out, Biohazard came out, you started to see those girls push forward and be like, oh, I can get into this. This has got me moving, right? So that was the trick, especially me and Danny with that left hand work.
Yeah,
with that extra snare shit and them little tastes. Sure. Those little tastes on the snare made it so, like the song "Old" on.
That's my favorite Machine Head song.
Right. Okay. So that song was originally written like da na da 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 na 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 na.
Of course, the metal style there. Until you had to came and throw that fucking shit on it.
I was like, that's just an Exodus song. What if we said dun dun sucker
that's my
right?
Shit. Cause
and that flipped the whole thing.
Because what you just did, because that's my shit in that track.
Yeah, because I'm tripping on Danny at that point. Like I'm like, God damn, Deluxe is fucking bomb. Shuffle. And fucking forget about it, dude. He's so fucking good. And we were already kind of on that.
Yeah.
But on the Pantera, on that other stuff too. So that groove metal. And look, I had no intentions of it to turn into rap metal, because I'll be straight up. I'm not a big fan of rap metal. I mean, it kind of came and went kind of fast, but the danceability, what I call knee lifters ball, right? Yeah. Because you had the headbangers ball, but I was like, shit's gonna flip. Watch to knee lifters ball, right?
With those knees,
Yeah, and then look, kung fu happens, and everything in the pit starts to become more danceable and just not running around in a circle. People are like stepping out and demonstrating their style, right?
Yeah, and for sure, what you just said was a perfect fucking, which I'm actually gonna use whenever I use it, because I'm always talking theory. Me, Craig, everybody with certain.
Yeah, my boy Craig.
Like what you just said was that shuffle made like what would have been an Exodus riff into some whole other shit.
Yeah. It would have been a totally different song.
Totally. And when you just did that, I was like, it's something I try to explain, that formula is something I talk about always, that what I said, that what metal didn't have. The first band that I personally heard that I said, these motherfuckers got it, was X-Hoarder. When I heard the Slaughter of the Vatican had chops, but the Law record, there's the song called The Cross.
Yes.
I'm getting goose pimples because the first 4 riffs on that smoke almost anything out there.
And
all and the drummer going up a shuffling, doing the flavor, the spots, letting guitar breathe at times, busy guitars, letting drums open, being conscious. And then you find out there's a reason. They're New Orleans dudes, those guys are listening to the meters. Those guys are listening to, and then he's like, okay, I get it. With the Southern, I call it swamp. Crowbar has it. The fucking what do you call it? All the bands from down south had that slosh. I love it. It's that Southern.
Exhorter is the archetype for fucking Pantera.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? Sure. I mean, they go, shit. Okay, we're doing our Van Halen, Judas Priest kind of glam, almost glam metal, and then Exhorter pops off, and their whole script changes.
So what happened was they had the Remedy, but it was very, very busy. Now you got the Machine Heads, the Sepulturas. Now they iron it. They throw more punk in it. More punk attitude in it. Where you got the big and the chunk, and now you got the Machine Heads. You got the Chaos ADs. Now that's the shit where finally I'm like, That's where I like it. Stop there.
Word.
Keep going. You know, now I like them.
Yeah, yeah.
Metal got it. We good, you know?
Yeah,
But
for sure, man, for sure.
now, let me ask you this. All right, so go back. Why drums? How did drums come in the picture? Were you a drummer since like the story hitting pots and pans like everybody else? Or
A little bit. Like, so my dad was a singer-songwriter, producer, idol maker. He discovered the Shirelles. And
shit, that's dope.
yeah, he worked with Dr. John and John Hammond, Rick Derringer. He brought Dusty Springfield to the United States for the first time from the UK. So I was brought up in the studio.
Yeah.
And it kind of kicked off a real quick little story. So my dad was working with Rick Derringer, and a big ass studio argument broke off about some musical part of the song or how they were going to approach it, right? And so the engineer, the producer, my dad, everybody's fighting and arguing. And I guess I took my little ass into the big room and sat up on the drums. I must have been 1, maybe 2 years old. And I started keeping time on the snare, like ta, 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 and the do, and hitting, and it stopped the argument. Dead in its tracks. And everybody's like, hey, wait, hold on. And they turned on the mic, and it just centered them. They're like, shit.
Yeah, okay.
This is musicianship. This is why we're here. Let's compose our shit. Go get Chris off the fucking drums and let's keep working.
Yeah.
So then after that, you know, dude, my thing is bass. A lot of drummers would be like, drummer runs the stage. Yeah. That ain't me.
Yeah.
It's about the bass player. Bass player runs the stage. Yeah. And for me, like, I hate playing by myself. I hate playing without a bass player because I need that purpose. I need that thing. I will conform more to what the bass player is doing with the kick drum.
Yeah.
And his interpretation of it than try to be like, no, the kick pattern's this, bass player, play me. Yeah. Right. I learned a lot because you mentioned the meters. 2008, me and my brother, he still lives out on the East Coast, and he does hippie jam music, you know, kind of Grateful Dead style, Allman Brothers vibe, right? And shout out to Drew Stone. I see you at the Dead shows, dude.
I see him.
Yeah. So me and him, we both play drums. He also plays guitar. We put a band together with Leo Nocentelli on guitar from the Meters.
Oh, shit. All right.
John Popper from the Blues Traveler.
Wow.
Bobby Vega on bass, and C.R. Groover, who is the keyboard player down in New Orleans. Everybody uses him, right? We called it Bro. Beats Rhythm Overture. And we did shows, and it was sick. But I learned so much having to play those few Meters songs about what Zigaboo was doing, right? Because you can lead the pack, but you still got to be on bass.
Yeah. Crazy.
You know, you can express yourself however you want on the drums, but for me, it's all about bass.
Yeah, and you started. So you fucked with drums and you fucked with bass. What was your first band? Was it as a bass player or as a drummer?
Nah, drummer, man. The bass thing went away pretty fast because I realized that, like, I want to be the complement to that because I really wasn't picking it up. You know, I the beating on shit and the jock in me and the martial arts and the football all kind of like felt drums, right?
Yeah,
so
more gorilla.
Exactly. I can't hide from it. Got big ass sausage hands and shit.
And when you started playing in the band, were you already into whatever metal, rock, or were you? What was your first? Like, we always usually what our parents listen to, kind of.
That's how it went. Yeah, that's how it went. Like, my dad was getting all these promotion records, right? He would get boxes.
Special. You were getting
boxes.
A little bit better shit though. So you got to get like real music though. So
I would go and get in these boxes. My mom would pull out like Boss Skaggs or the records she likes, and she would put like Alice Cooper Killers to the side, like, oh, that's a snake, or Black Sabbath's first album, or the first Kiss album, or like that's how I found, like, well, mom put these aside. These got to be trippy. So it all kind of went from that. I'm a huge Alice Cooper fan. And that bleeds into Kiss and bleeds into Van Halen. And, so it kind of came up Black Sabbath, huge Black Sabbath, Bill Ward fan.
That's Bill Ward is not from New Orleans, but his soul is from New Orleans.
He's got that jazz texture, that blues texture.
that
And
swamp.
it spoke to me, man. It's vocal. It's like it's lyrical, right? It's lyrical drumming, you know.
Yeah.
And I like to be musical with my drumming. That's why sometimes, you know, some people I have to like garner myself a little bit and be like, oh, don't overplay. Like let the singer sing. Don't try to sing with the singer, you know.
Yeah, and
But
that's learning because also you came up listening. Not that everything else isn't real music, but you were listening to some good music where good songwriting. Good songwriting means good musicianship, which usually means people not always overplaying. Like, you know,
right,
in our music genre, it's very easy to do somebody overplaying, trying too much.
You could do that. I could do this. You could do that. Oh, I'm gonna do this.
Like we could do that all day and add.
You just start to chase the tail.
Yeah, you know, and then you got a mush at the
end.
Yeah,
exactly. We call it black page, right? It's a black page. There's so many notes. It's just black.
Yeah, it's just black. Yeah, not exactly. It's like mush. But the first band, what was it? Metal band?
Nah, man, it was a classic. It was my very first band. I was 13 years old, and it was my friend Susie Gall and Lynn Berkey, two girls. I was in a girl band first, man.
You were like Ike Turner before Ike Turner, and without hitting him.
That's funny.
So they were like, so what was it, like classic rock you were doing, like rock stuff?
Yeah, you know, covers first, right? And then, you know, then we'd start to write our own little songs. But by the time I was like 15, 16, that's when, you know, Black Flag and the Sex Pistols and Circle Jerks and all that shit started to bleed in from like older skater and BMXers in my hood.
That's what got you the entrance, right? Because I know you're a BMX guy.
Yeah.
I was a hip hop kid. My older brother, rest in peace, he was my entrance into, you know, metal, hardcore, and all that. Yeah. But I got into skating a little bit too, so there was that. There's always the connection to punk, metal, thrash.
Yep. And that just spoke to me. I just the culture, the vibe, the fuck authority fucking thing, you know, like that whole thing. You're not going to change me. You're not going to tell me what's what. It spoke to me. And then early on, I had my very first punk band was called Homicidal Youth.
Oh shit, that's official.
Oh, dude, it was funny because we played on Maximum Rock and Roll. They were gonna play our song, and the night that they played it, Jello was the guest DJ, right? So Jello Biafra, he says, the next song we're gonna play is a band called Homicidal Youth. That's a stupid name. And dude, we were crushed, bro. We were like, oh, Jello punked us. Yeah. And we changed that shit quick to Attitude Adjustment, dude.
All right, Attitude Adjustment is hard. I didn't know that, but that other name ain't bad for, like, you know, for what it is. You know,
but it was the youth cycle, dude. Everybody was youth, right?
I know. That's why it was a typical, like what you call the band on the TV show. It's something you like, you know.
Exactly.
You know? But that's cool. And so, all right, so you moved out to California young.
Yeah, because Dad was bouncing all around. Like we went to Canada for a while he worked with Dr. John and John Hammond. Then we were down in LA. And then, so yeah, he fell in love with the Northern California vibe, dude. Yeah. So like we were out here by like 74.
Gotcha. And the early bands and all that stuff when you got into, where were you living at? Where and were you in the Bay Area?
Concord, California, a little bit out, like it's like 35 miles, 38 miles away through the tunnel to east of here, out in the hot valley.
Gotcha. So that's where you came up. Where you up. Gotcha.
And couldn't get out of there fast enough. Couldn't get to Oakland and San Francisco fast enough, right?
So that's where basically you ended up where everybody ends up somewhere in the Bay, and that's where you ended up somewhere in the Bay Area, and that's where also everybody seemed to be. Let me ask you this: I'm fascinated with the Bay because one, I love it. Two, obviously we got a lot of fam. The music, I didn't start putting it together till later, from the Exoduses to the you guys. Like I hear the difference from LA bands and up north bands. All right, we know it. They both don't like what we don't love Slayer. We don't, of course we do. You know, those other bands, but they're great, of course. But we also know these bands had to go up north to do that.
To make it.
I know my shit. So I know where they had to go. What is it about the Bay that because it's like a lot like New York, and I don't like, and I'm a New York dude, and I'm not saying, I don't like saying it in a way like, oh, what makes it like New York? Because you could be from there and say like, oh no, New York's like us, and you guys could say that because they're so similar. It's ridiculous in the vibe, the style of people, the style of the hoods, the style of the suburbs. Very similar on how and it's crazy because LA, it's its own different animal.
It is. Look, I this is always a little danger zone here, but I never hold my tongue. I think segregation had a little bit to play into that. Up here in the Bay, Black, white, Spanish, Haitian, Chinese, Indian, whatever, it don't fucking matter, bro. And in LA, they kept it a little bit more segregated, right? Yeah, so maybe some swagger on both sides didn't really blend as fast, right? And so and we didn't really glam out too much here. Like there was something special about New York because you've got that whole New York Dolls, Kiss thing where tough guys weren't afraid to fucking have a switchblade and their girls' makeup on.
Yeah. You were able to still kind of do that, but now you could do it with an edge a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have the lineage of Santana, all the way through Huey Lewis and the News, and like then you get into like all these other great bands, that came out of here, and then you got the hip hop flavor, and you got the crossover scene, dude. The crossover happened here first.
And definitely,
it wasn't cool to be a punk rocker at a metal show around the whole country, around the world, or a long hair coming to a punk gig. It was off. Like fuck that. Who's these long hairs in the show? Get them.
For sure. Because even as a kid, us being the most, we're the hardcore and only hardcore kind of. You could rock my boys. Well, you always saw an Exodus shirt. Like there was certain bands like, no, those we fuck with them. That's we fuck with. Like but that's why I was always fascinated. Like, wow, what's the and what you said makes a lot of sense because I know street culture and I grew up on the streets and that makes a lot of sense. And I know a lot about the West Coast politics. And I know a lot of the West Coast politics with norteños and sureños. I'm naming shout out to everybody doing their thing out there, but I know a lot of the politics, and definitely up north is more mixed in. Even the slang words is used a little bit more. It's more like you said, it's more mixed in where blacks, Latins have a little bit more interaction with each other than they do down south. Sure. And it comes out, it makes sense now that you say that, because not that Exodus or those bands had swagger, like a hip hop swagger, but they had swagger compared to the metal coming out of everywhere else. It had that edge, that city edge. It's hard, you guys know and we know it's hard to put into words. Like
it's a famous story, dude. Look, Slayer comes up to the Bay Area, right? And they got the studs and the leather pants on and the spikes, and they got the black eyeliner on.
I remember.
And they played at Keystone Berkeley one night, and everybody was like, "Oh, all right, there's that LA thing," because we're in jeans and t-shirts up here, just doing our thing. Or if you're punked out, you're all bristled out or whatever. Yeah. And the next night they're supposed to play Ruthie's Inn. And so some of the boys out here were like, hey, it was cool for you guys to play San Francisco at the Keystone in the makeup. But tomorrow night, you're in the hood, in the metal hood, and that makeup's got to go, bruh. It's got to go. You got to lose the makeup. And they did, and they never wore makeup again. They came in on. The only thing that hit the stage was Kerry King's nail arm. That's the only thing they had. All the boots with the knee-high boots and shit.
I remember all that shit.
Gone. And Metallica moved up here, right? I mean, Cliff Burton says, you want me? You got to move to the Bay, right? We got Kirk Hammett. We got fucking this whole other thing going up here where it's real. So, I mean, I don't want to say fuck LA, but kind of fuck LA in a way, because there's that north and south divide. The state is so big. The state is so big.
We have it with like us in Jersey, us in Boston, right, those rivalries.
It's loving. It's a loving fuck LA.
Absolutely. It's like, it's the cousin that you hate. But
Yeah.
this blood connects the dots somewhere down the line.
Yeah, but don't fuck with them. Don't fuck with them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I know that, but that makes a lot of sense because I even seen it in the dress. The dress, to me, when I saw anybody who was a Bay Area thrash band, they looked like the metal guys in my neighborhood. You had jeans, you probably had a flannel, you were scruffed up, maybe you had some patches, you looked like you were dirty.
Yeah.
It was that same look that you would catch at a hardcore show. If you were a metal guy going to a hardcore show, you had that same look. It was that DRI-ish kind of look.
Exactly. Maybe start to shave one, like somebody fucked up and shaved one head, long hair with one side shaved.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll rock a AF patch where they're you could tell. And then the Bay was definitely all those bands that would come out always got mad love. And I never when I got older, even friends that were New York guys.
Yeah.
They moved out there and they're like, I love it here because it's like New York.
Yeah,
They live out there and they're like same. And then when I go there, I get it from
without the snow.
Without the snow, yeah. Thank God. Thank God. An attitude adjustment. So how does that come up? Because first of all, when I first met you was 95 with that Dynamo 95. Everybody could go to YouTube and see fucking Machine Head Killed, and that was our first big festival ever. But that day we met. We might have met right before somewhere, but I remember that day chilling. Like, like I remember you came right away to our bus and you were like, yo, thank God, some fam is here. I remember you were like psyched that some people were there. And I remember you were kind of a little homesick at the time.
Oh, yeah. Like, that was a 22-month tour. And, look, everybody knows Machine Head broke up or I left or whatever. Right. So, dude, I needed fam. I needed my stigma moment.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember you saying it and I could tell, I always say it and I remember your face, how you like legit look like, whew, finally some people like, I feel like, okay, I could let my head down or like I could kind of like chill out a minute.
Yeah.
And I also remember, and I use you a lot because you were one of the first guys that I remember you talking about, I was asking you questions about the record. And I remember that was the first time I heard you were like, yo, it's fucking crazy. They had me doing it in sections. And I remember back then, everybody knows Pro Tools now. Back then, the big dogs only knew about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you had the luck of having a big budget and I remember you were like, they I would take sections. And I remember being like fascinated. Like me and Maddie Henderson talked about that shit for years. Like, yo, they did it in peace. How crazy is that? Because I remember you pointing out a spot and you were like, listen to that. You're like, I would need another hand to do that part or something. You said something that was pretty funny.
Right. Well, what we did was we were doing the classic punch in, right? So I would play along and we punch in, right? And then it wasn't even called Pro Tools yet. It was just the company was Digidesign. And the dude that invented Pro Tools, he came and he aligned all the kick drums. Right? Because I was solid up top, but there was some points where the kick drums were wobbling and shit. Yeah. And that was inherent to most metal records. Back then. You'd hear like, I got tired or
of course.
sped up, or whatever. Yeah. So I didn't play to a click. And we did cut the tape a couple times too. We actually cut the 2-inch tape, old school, Old school.
I did one of those.
And we did a few edits. But I would punch in so I would have like maximum impact for the end of the song. But now you can do crazy shit.
Exactly,
like,
exactly.
I'm playing that rollover, stick it in, or I missed the kick drum, stick it in, or
but exactly. That's what I was saying. But I remember, so that was like our first
birth
the
of
only
that
thing
shit.
before that was probably watching Madonna's video where she's like, take my vocals from there and put it there. And we're like, you could do that?
What?
I remember like no way. Like I didn't even know, think of that. And then
what is this sorcery?
Yeah, what is this black magic? And I remember when you were telling me that, I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, wow. Because
we got to experience some of that. Yeah. I mean, we were blessed, dude. We got a really solid budget. We had Colin Richardson producing it, Vinny Vogino on engineering, and they were like a wonder team. We got to take our time, it wasn't like get in there, do 13 songs in 7 hours. I could split the songs into a few days. I think I did my drum tracks with the setup day and everything. I was done in like 5 days because it was like, look, we'll come in, we'll play 4. Then we come in the next day, we play 4 more, and we're really introspective on them and get them right. You know, I would get off the kit, play some ping pong, and stay sweaty and shoot the ball around because we bought a hoop. I mean, that was back in the day when, you know, you had porn budget, you know,
exactly.
You know,
for whatever. Hell yeah.
Right. So we bought a little hoop, but it was all to keep us like hot and fresh and moving and stuff. You know, it wasn't extravagant shit, but so yeah, we took our time with it. We took our time with the mix, and, you know, Roadrunner, you know, they signed us unseen. They gave us crazy money and had never even seen us play live yet. Crazy. So it was a special time, special record. It's my legacy. There's no way to hide from it. Yeah. You know, I've done a bunch of other stuff, but you know, bottom line, doing this 25th anniversary tour was like straight up magical, man. It was like coming back, crushing that beef with Rob.
Yeah, I was to say, hold on, we gotta rewind right there. No, but hold on, I wanted to ask that. So
that was classic, like, there, bro.
Without having to get into beef shit, because I'm not about the intricates of beef or whatever. But were you speaking before you were asked to do this run?
We had bumped into. We were keeping cordial, right? We weren't talking on the phone or nothing like that. If we saw each other at a show, we'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" Yeah. He'd be like, "Hey," we'd chill. You know, we'd stand next to each other at like the soundboard. But it was awkward, dude, because we had pushed down so much black tar. Yeah. And dude, bottom line, we were 2 rams on a mountain. Yeah. I had my thing. He had his thing. You know, he headhunted me to be in the band. And when I got there, he was like, damn, I didn't get a puppy. I got a full grown pit bull. Right. You know, it's like adoption. You know, you don't know the dog you're getting. Right. So we had different ways of going about shit. Wow. Done. Right. So coming back at 52 years old, we have gone through so much, and we really the past few years had really realized, man, I can't cycle past a lot of this. Like it was, and I didn't even realize for him how much of a block it was for him to have held all that shit in. Yeah. So we had that first meeting, and it was 4.5 hours long, dude. We bared our souls, bro. We pulled all that. It was like the Exorcist of Emily Rose, where she pulls out that fucking.
So before you guys had that meeting, though, he had reached out to you.
They had quit those other 2 guys had quit the band, and it was right on the 25th anniversary of the record.
I was like,
and
shit.
Everybody,
one guy, and then the second guy, I heard like
same day.
I remember catching that. I was like, oh
yeah. And as soon as it happened, dude, my socials blew the fuck up. His socials blew the fuck up. Everybody knew the timing with the 25th anniversary. Everybody was like, the only thing that makes sense right now is you go snatch Logan, you go snatch Chris, and you do a 25th anniversary tour. Like, get it done. Perfect opportunity. I knew the phone call was coming. I mean, I told my wife, I was like, watch, Joey's going to call. Yeah. And sure as shit, Joey called up and said, hey, would you be willing to sit down with Rob? And I was like, fuck yes. Yeah. Fuck yes. And dude, it was magical, dude. I mean, we had so much fun. We all connected on a huge level. Our musicianship was up. I had to take on a lot of shit that I'd never done before because they played live to a click now.
Yeah, live. Okay.
They do in-ears. Right?
Wow, you didn't do in-ears back, huh?
Never had ever done that. Never played on a record to a click. Never played live to a click. Never did in-ear. So I was super untrusting. I was wait,
hold on 1 second. So hold on. So that wait. So the Machine Head record wasn't on a click?
Nah, man. Nah.
Even I know you punched into it, but it wasn't on a click.
No click, dude. I mean,
sure, you go and but still.
For me, that goes back that goes back to hip hop, and that goes back. If you map it
in my head, I seen you do it live, so I know you could play it. So I was like, there's no way I would have said that was not on a clip.
Yeah. And if you map it, if you truly map it, you can source all the tempo changes and stuff. Yeah. But there's something about my style that I naturally will like make the ending exciting. So that little bit of ramp, it's written in the song. Like I don't really write my parts to be linear out the end of the song. I go like, motherfucker, boom, like, you know,
yeah.
And so that's always been in my style. So I think people's ears, when they hear me, maybe they're almost like geared up. They're like, oh, now he's gonna go. Now he's gonna go. You know, that flurry. Here comes that flurry.
Yeah.
But it's always like written into the music, right? And the musicians I'm around, they move with me, right? So it becomes subtle and it becomes kind of hidden that it's actually happening. You know,
I didn't think a band like Machine Head would be allowed to not play to a click. You know what I mean? Not that it wasn't. Machine Head always had an attitude, though. Like it felt that punk, like real. But because it's very, you know, it's loose, but it's technical. You know, it got Machine Head's its own animal. I give Machine Head props for wherever, even the shit they do now, wherever it falls in, it's their own style of what it is. You know, and it's layers to it. It ain't just rigid. It's not rigid. That's what I always liked about Machine Head. Love them. They had no sharp edges. Everything kind of made sense.
Yeah, that's Rob. Rob is so nice with the how to change a beat, how to get from the chorus to back to the verse, to write that bridge, write that cool solo section. You know, but you got to remember, without, like, people get pressured more now because of Pro Tools engineers having to work that shit without a click. Like, I think the click has become way more prevalent because Pro Tools guys are like, hey, I can't fix shit if you do another take off click. Right?
Exactly.
But, you know, not to toot the horn, when I record, and I still don't record to a click. When you listen to the Boneless Ones record, dude, check it.
Yeah, we are. We're gonna put it on my new. I got a new show where we cover all new music all around the planet, and I'm gonna put it on. So definitely, I'm gonna check it out. Definitely.
So our producer, Mixer, he was like, "Fuck, I can move all this shit around, even multiple takes. You're right on lock, back to where you were. All I gotta do is hear what I was doing before, and I click right back in. Like, I just go right back in, and I even became better at it after playing to a click with Machine Head, because I was freaking out about it. I was like, look, the in-ears are enough. Now you're making me play live to a click, rehearse to a click. I'm tripping out. And Rob was like, easy, killer. Like, you're going to be a better drummer for this.
Yeah.
And so I just took a deep breath and I sold out to it. I was like, okay, I'm going to make the click my bitch. Yeah. And I'm going to own it. And if I need to move off of it. And he goes, look, dude, if we're jamming and we're locked in, just look over at your roadie and just give him a look. He'll kill the click because we're locked. We're in there.
That's fair game. That almost like, all right, fair game. Like, you know, like,
but what he said meant a lot to me, dude. It really made sense. He said, look, you're on tour and your dog dies at home, right? Wife, Rufus died. You're gonna play slow and lethargic and like shit. Now you get to Germany, Berlin, and you got 15 friends there. Man, you're going to play like JoJo the Circus Boy, freaking the fuck out, showing out. Sure. So what it does is it preserves the intention of the song and the mentality and the tempo, preserves it. And it worked out great. It worked out super cool. I mean, and then the lights. The lights and the pyro, right?
I was gonna say, hold on. I was gonna say that. Let's rewind, because I seen pictures of that, and I seen you engulfed in flames, sparklers. How was that? Did you ever do the pyro shit before with Machine Head? Never.
No, that was funny. In the meeting, we did the whole 4-hour meeting, right? And I was saving this shit. I go, oh shit, because we're talking about family and kids and stuff and everything. And I go, there is one thing though, guys, I got to tell you. And Joey and Rob's face just dropped. They're like, oh, here it comes. And I go, fire. And he goes, what? And I go, fire. And he goes, pyro? And I go, yeah, because it's burn my eyes, burn motherfucker burn, nation on fire. Like, you say flames or fire like 30 times on that record, and we never got to fuck with fire. And he goes, look, dude, we've never toured with pyro before. He goes, but I think we should. And so me and him got to design the fire and everything, dude. Like, the Kiss fan in me. I mean, dude, my first Kiss show was 76 at the Palladium, or I mean the Forum in LA.
Crazy.
Burnt my eyebrows off, dude. We were front row. 11 years old, burnt my eyebrows off. Right? So, dude, having that pyro, that first rehearsal day when they tested the pyro, man, I felt like Bruce Lee in an Evil Knievel cape with fucking Gene Simmons boots on, dude. I was freaking
Elvis collar.
Everything 77. Everything 77 was on, dude.
Yo, that I seen the photos and I seen the footage because I've seen the jam sessions, whatever was, and I was like, oh shit, they got the squad back for this tour. I was like, oh, and then I seen the pictures and they look ridiculous. I remember.
Yeah, biggest production they ever took on the road. It was the biggest thing. And then we got sick in New York, man. We were on the middle of that tour. Well, just actually the very first quarter of the tour. We did Europe, then we did the States, and by the time on February 1st. 2020 we got to Webster Hall and did that show, and it was rammed, and then after our show was the DJ night, so it got double rammed.
Oh yeah.
And by the 5th we were starting to all get sick, and we didn't know what it was. We were going to urgent care. We were having rock docs come backstage, and they were like, it's like strep throat, walking pneumonia, flu,
everything.
And out of 29 of us, 17 of us got sick. And our tour manager got super sick. He went back to the UK on the 25th of February, and he went to the hospital. He was hospitalized, and he ended up getting tested. And then he called us back and said, that's what we had. Because I had all the generic symptoms, dude. All the generic symptoms. Sickest I'd ever been in my life.
Wow. All right. It hit you hard.
Yeah. Huh? Oh, yeah, dude. And we played every night. You got to remember that, like, for me, I'm getting up there and playing an hour and 30 with the cover song. Rough. But Rob is up there 3.5 hours. And he was sick as fuck, bro. He was collapsing, bro.
Crazy. That is
collapsing.
He's singing, playing.
But I think we pushed it through. To tell you the damn truth, I think the fact, because what Corona wants you to do and COVID wants you to lay down and die, right? And we refused to stop. We were still working out, coughing up our fucking lungs and diarrhea and fucking fevers and shit.
The body, listen, I ain't going to get into whatever, but the body's a very amazing machine.
Oh,
yeah. Can do amazing things when you put it to work. You don't know what your body could do till you put it to work. Then you'll be surprised. I ain't saying what it could do or what it can do, but I know for a fact, you put it to work, you'd be surprised on what your body could do with just tuning it up right by eating.
Well, speaking on that, you and me have gone through some transformations, bro.
Yes, I see.
I mean, because like in 2012, I was 329 pounds.
Yeah.
And fucked off. Like my health was fucked. And I ended up in a coma, and that's how I woke up out of that coma, tripping on. I had 2 spit glands removed.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, wow. and the surgery went sideways because I was a big ass unhealthy piece of shit. And the surgery went sideways. My heart stopped. I had like blood loss and swelling, and they put me in a propanol coma that was supposed to last 12 hours. I woke up 5 days later.
Wow.
And when I woke up, I was tripping on 2 things: how unhealthy my doctor was telling me I was, and how worried he was that I was working on a canned ham for a heart, diabetes, high blood pressure medicine, like the gamut. And that freaked me out when I woke up. And the other thing was, I'm going to race BMX nationally.
That's what you gave.
And I couldn't stop. It was like a brain twitch in my coma.
It kicked in,
right? So in 7 months, so right after I came out of the coma, I started tripping on BMX, and it started this 7-month thing where I lost 149 pounds and I won the hardest trophy to win in BMX, Grand National title. And so watching you do your transformation, and you cut up, dude. I'm not even cut up. I just lost a bunch of weight, but like you on the buff train.
I'm working on it.
You look great, dude.
Thank you,
You
brother.
look great, dude. I'm so proud of you, bro, because me and you look, like you said, the body is an incredible machine, but if you abuse it, you're going to lose it. And you look great, dude. And I'm very proud of you, bro.
The same thing when you eat, like it took for me, my coma was I have family members passing away, and basically I'm a single father, and
Yes.
there's no way, and there'll never ever be a time in my life where I won't go the extra 1,000 miles for my sons. Meaning,
There you go.
say that's the end of the line. That's when I go 1,000 more miles. So
Yeah.
I knew after my mother passed away, who was basically raising my son and being the mother to my son, I said, there's nobody after that. I said, now I already knew I was a big guy, unhealthy, this and that. I said, I wasn't even a scale weight. You know, I knew I was I had to be close to 400 pounds at times, 375.
Yeah.
I'm like 240 now. But the whole thing was, I got to live for my sons. I'm going to leave my son.
Best reason.
I kept thinking, I'm going to leave my son a fucking orphan. That I got control. I believe in God. I don't care what people believe in or whatever, but I believe in a God. And I believe, as I said, she, whatever it is, God takes me when God takes me. But I'm not going to give God a head start.
Right. Like, why push it? Exactly. Why push it down the line?
Yeah, like I saw a commercial that put my brain wave into words, and they said, you can't live forever, but why can't we try? Die trying. Right. And I said, you know what? That's what I'm doing. I'm going to die trying to live forever. I just want to live old enough that my son, I see him, we're married or whatever, he don't got to worry about nobody in life, where he's carefree. Then whatever happens to me, have me. When my sons could go on their own and they don't got to worry about life, I'm good. Then my mission is done.
Nice. Nice.
So, but that helps me go to the gym. Every time I don't want to go, I think, why am I doing it? Go for my kids. And as I'm saying, it's not even a question. Never. Yeah,
and it's not ego based, right? It's like it's pure motivation, dude. That's the best motivation, dude. It's family, friends, and lifestyle.
Like I said, I was lucky that in my life I was able to meet great women in my life that abs was never the main concern of the relationship. They saw me from my other side, sexy side.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Cuddle bear.
Yeah. In reality, it was never a look thing for me. I never gave a fuck. To me, I was always confident in who I am. Yeah, I knew I was a heavier guy, but I've always been a big kid, and I was always like, I don't give a fuck. I'm me. I do me, whatever.
Yeah.
Then my mom's passed and put things in perspective. I knew no matter what, better health gives me more years, and I needed to be here for my son. Son. So boom, and there we go. So
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty fucking stoked that I could go to Trash and Vaudeville and get the bondage pants I always wanted.
Yeah,
right? I mean, could never wear some shit. Some punk rock clothes be for like tiny people and shit. So I'm not gonna lie. You
know what now is, I don't got to worry about. All right, if I try to go on a roller coaster, that I don't need like two people trying to push the shit down on me.
In a plane, right? The plane is different.
An extension. I was an extension guy my whole life.
And all those little injuries too, like the shit, like, oh, I got a bad knee, or this, it's the 50 pounds on the gut. It's 60 pounds on that knee. Take that off.
And like we were talking, I was diabetic. I beat my diabetes, but just with no medicine, with no nothing.
Fuck yeah.
I don't take. Thank God. I take no medicines for blood pressure, for nothing. My health is good, thank God. But I thought, I had diabetes, and that's what was. I kept thinking, I was starting to have back pains, and I go, that's it, it's my diabetes. I'm dying. I feel my kidneys rotting. They're ceasing. Long story short, when I got checked out, I got arthritis in my back from playing.
Yeah.
But like I said, it got me thinking of where I was headed to, and the way everything at home was happening. It just put things in perspective. But that's also why I rehashed the podcast, which I did 4 or 5 years ago. But I said, I was motivated in what I do. And
totally,
and everything,
totally.
And
I got to put my charger in. Hold on.
But charge up.
Yeah, man, we're going on a walk.
Yeah, it's all good. No, I was glad to catch you. Either way, we're not gonna be on much longer. I
just want to make sure my phone don't drop before we.
Hell yeah.
Kick off here.
I'm glad. And let me ask you, what did you do to work on your thing? You were just riding bike. What did you change?
Yeah, dude.
You're eating.
It was like a whole correlation of shit, dude. It was like I started to get around all these racers, and they were like, "Look, you want to go faster? You got to lose weight."
Facts. It's true. Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Right.
and you can't buy a bicycle part for that. They don't make that part.
Yeah.
You got to make that part on your body. And
No. And he froze.
still there?
Yeah. Boom. You're
Okay.
back. That's good. Now
Boom,
it's all good.
charging. Yeah, so look, like diet, you know, I had one thing I had really confused, right, was like carbs and proteins. Like I get up in the morning and eat way too much meat, sausage and bacon and all this shit and butter on everything. It's protein, right? And then midday I start like carving out like late at night. I'm all up on some chips or like I love baguettes with like cheese and shit. So all my fuel and rebuilding and all that shit was completely all over the map.
That's okay.
So I just started carbing in the morning to fuel and then train and then midday some nuts and some little bit of protein to rebuild for the next part of my training. And I made a really cool team too. That was another thing I got on this BMX team. So I had all this motivation and knowledge around me.
People, yeah.
And look, we go to the track and practice 4 times a week. Then the weekend you race locals or you go to a national. So it was like, and it was a metaphor for not being in bands. I walked away from music during BMX completely because you crash all the time, and I couldn't commit
you'd be fucking
to a band because if you're not crashing, you're not trying is the mentality. So it was easy for me to just focus and be like, I don't got to have 5 dudes to move forward. It's on me, Yeah, for sure. So it really did save my life, dude. I mean, in a lot of ways, it centered my mind in a lot of ways. It let me step back from it. Saved music too, because it let me step back and understand the process and the wants and the needs and the expectations. Because I was in that desperate to matter moment where it's like I couldn't go to a club and enjoy a band really because I was trying to meet the promoter or figure out how they got so many people in here and who's the sound man and let me get these flyers out. And I couldn't just watch a band.
Yeah, I know.
Right. And then being backstage.
Being a civilian again.
Be a civilian, right? And so, and then also seeing how I was through observing the rest of the scene. Everybody tripping and desperate and scattering and the cutthroat nature of everything, right? So coming back to music during the Machine Head thing, I was toned, I was ready, I was healthy, I was athletic, but I also had a totally different mindset of the expectations. For me, there is no money in it. I'll be straight up with you, man. I probably made $70,000 in a 35-year career. There's but you fill your heart more than your wallet in this world, right?
Yeah.
So I've got friends everywhere around the world. I got places in my mind that I've been, things I went to go see. I never hid on the bus. I don't like to hang backstage. I like to be in the front on the steps of the venue with everybody.
Yeah.
That's how I get my weed on
and
those interactions. And the next thing you know, you're going to a record store that nobody knows about and they're taking you to a castle.
Yeah.
And then Facebook happens in 2008 and you get a little message. Hey, it's Mario. You remember me? I know you meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
Do you remember when I took you? And I'm like, hey, Mario, whoa.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, he's coming to stay at the house.
Yeah.
Because I'm coming to America. We need to chill. Okay.
Come to my crib. Yeah.
So many people I hooked up with from the Machine Head era, 94, 95, that 2019, 2020, we chilled hard. And it was like we never missed a beat. It was back to that vibe, right? So coming back after BMX was a real eye opener and a real blessing to be able to have readjusted and recalibrated everything in a new way. It was really, really, really cool, man. And like I said, between BMX and martial arts and music, life is good, man. My wife and family like, super supportive. Like
you're in a good space, man. It seems like you're in a real good space about what you're doing, being active, from being with the band and everything. I could see it from what I see, and I'm glad because there's also a lot of people, you know, in our generation that are falling apart, or just don't have it no more, or don't want it no more.
Or
So it's
jaded.
exactly, meaning they don't want it no more, jaded, and
Yeah.
just having people still loving it, still.
Yeah.
Like you can, you know, we couldn't get away from it if we wanted to get away from it, because it's
Right.
just a part of us. But
Right.
that's what I love.
It's like going and seeing Powerhouse.
Yeah, exactly. You know, yeah.
Walter
You know,
and Chris and Eddie and them guys still fucking hungry as shit, right?
Yeah,
Dipping the mic
exactly.
into the front row, and like,
exactly.
you know,
Like,
it's
why
like
they
these
do it?
people are
Because they love it. Like, why
they
go?
love it.
They don't need to do that. Chris, he has a fucking company. They all work.
Yeah.
Why? Because we love it. We love being a reason where we could all see each other and have a reason to get out and have an excuse to hang out with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a bear. I call it the bear trap.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
either you lay down and die, or you chew that fucking foot off and keep going, right?
Exactly.
You know, and so I'm not trying to bleed out. I want to live this, like you said, man. Nobody's gonna be here forever, and get it now, because you know, look, 50. I just turned 54 on June 25th.
You look
And
good.
I
Happy
ain't
birthday,
even
you
feeling
looking
it.
good.
I'm still doing stage dives. I'm still up in the pit.
Exactly.
You know, so if my body tells me, hey, stop, chill, I just say, nah, man. Like you said, that extra 1,000 miles, man.
Yo, Vinny Stigma setting the bar, so he's out there getting ready. So we got no excuses. All I gotta say is, I'm glad you were able to come on here. I've been wanting to get you for a minute, but I know you did the podcast circus. I was letting you marinate a little bit, but then I was like,
but this is a conversation, dude. This is like this is homie talk, dude.
Yeah,
like,
you know, exactly. This is one, and I've been wanting to get you because, like I said, I use you a lot because, again, you were also one of the first guys doing the Big Willie shit. So I remember being like, yeah, Chris Kontos did this on that record, you know, like, oh, okay, one of us, you know, and so I always took that throughout the years, and I was like, yo, you always know when people talk about that, go, you know, played hardcore punk band, right? Okay, just so you know. Just so you know. I like telling people, like, your favorite, some of your favorite metal bands have, you know, have our people in there too, like, you know,
no doubt. All together.
But
no doubt.
I'm glad you were able to jump on here. Anything you want to let everybody know what to look out for, Chris? What should people look out for in the Chris Kontos life?
Just, you know, hey, just, you know, like I said, I'm an open book, right, on Facebook, right? And, you know, something I want to touch on because it's a big deal is, like, I want people to know a little bit about, like, depression and anxiety and suicide. You know, there's the new suicide prevention hotline now is that 988 number. And if you're feeling alone and you're feeling like you don't fit and that people don't go through shit, people do. And you're not alone. And like, I'm an open book. I do respond to people on Facebook. I do talk to people. I got no shame in my game about helping people and being there for people. And just, you know, I've lost a lot of friends to suicide and a lot of drug overdoses and shit which is slow suicide, you know? And so pain is real, and, you know, try to derive as much happiness from music and everything, but also think about the lyrics and where people are coming from, because you're not alone, you know, and you can suffer alone, or you can reach out and maybe hear something that's going to take you in a different direction, inspire you in a different way. And just don't close your heart and keep your mind open to change. And because it happened to me, it happens to a lot of my homies, a lot of my sisters are able to, you know, and so that's something that I'm really been belling a lot lately. Friend of mine told me, like, dude, you kind of treat your Facebook like differently a little bit, because you're not all, you know, you show emotions, you show your real side, right? It ain't fake book for you, right?
Yeah.
And I fucking openly cried on Facebook one time because I was just so low. Yeah. And the result of that was, like, talking to a lot of people, and I know I helped a lot of people that day, because the whole idol worship stuff and the whole rock star shit, that's never been me, man. I'm just people. This is our culture. Like you said, we're fragile. We got to represent.
Yeah.
And that comes with a little extra responsibility that I'm willing to take on a little bit more, to really protect and bolster people and just let people know that life is rough on everybody.
Yeah, for sure. And it's good that you said that because especially in our world and our era of people is a very, from the women and the men, a very, we got to be in the public a little bit, show a little bit tougher skin or whatever, and we tend to hide shit more. The same shit happened with me, when losing my brother, losing my mom. This is why I started training and whatever, because I hit a hole, and you start thinking that that you have it worse than everybody, that nobody else is fit. But the minute you open your ears and your eyes, I'm not saying this in a bad way, but there's people that have it worse than you. And, and you don't look at it as in a negative way. You look at it as fuel, as these people made it through some shit. I can make it through some shit. And I've used that to get through a lot. I've lost a lot, but I've also seen people lose way more with less, that had less. I've lost a lot of people, but I've lost people that I loved and that they loved me. You know what it is to have some people go through their whole life without ever being loved.
Right.
I've been loved, and I've been lucky and see it for that. Not everybody. And I also see that, man, there's people that go through their whole lives never being loved. I've been lucky to have it multiple times. And it's it's a perspective, but you start seeing like, hey, you could get through over, we need a crutch. Everybody, there's a crutch out there for everybody. Put it like that. There's a one size fits all crutch for everybody out there, no matter what your problem is.
It's true. It's true, man. It's true. And I fucking love you, dude. I celebrate you. I celebrate that whole New York hardcore scene. You guys are like family to me and always have been, even if we don't see each other a lot. I keep my eye on you and Craig and Deluxe and
everybody
and Stigma and Roger and my boy Roy Mayorga.
Hell yeah! Listen, Kontos, New
Wild
York
Card.
Hardcore is your New York Hardcore is your house too. It's just I said it right here on the motherfucking Smokin Word podcast. And if any motherfucker got something to say, you know how to hit me in my DMs.
Easy to find. Easy to find.
I'm here every Thursday and Wednesday, motherfuckers.
Nice.
Chris Kontos, I love you. Keep killing it. Keep me
You
posted.
too.
I'll review the band and all the other stuff on the other show, and I'll send you the link.
Nice.
Shout out to you, everybody. Make sure you follow my brother. Take care and watch him kill those skins.
Right on, man.
We out, brother. We talk soon. I'll let you know when this
All
drops.
right. All right. Peace and love, man. Take it easy. PMA.
PMA, we out.
Peace.